Good day everyone! We are Group 3 from General Biology class Section A. In this opportunity, we would like to talk about starting new life in Mars. Next. Before we go further, let me first introduce our group members. There are Anissa Adelia, Kimberly Pua, Nurlaila Nadifa, Corina Hani, Safir Zakia, and Tiffany Adora. Next. Our agenda today is discussing 4 major topics, which are first, about Mars, the general information about the planet. Second, Mars and ecology. Third, obstacles to live in Mars. And the last is the conclusion and Q&A session. Next. The first part about Mars will be explained by me, Nadifa. Next. Mars is the terrestrial planet with a thin atmosphere. This is the fourth planet from the Sun, which is 142 million miles away. Mars also considered as the second smallest planet in the solar system. It is approximately half of the diameter of Earth, around 4,220 miles. Mars is less than Earth. It has 15% of Earth's volume and 11% of Earth's mass. Compared to Earth, Mars has 2 relatively small natural moons, which are Phobos, about 14 miles in diameter, and Deimos, about 7.5 miles in diameter. They orbit close to the planet. Next. This planet, Mars, is also known as the red planet as it shows a reddish appearance that comes from the iron oxide effect that is prevalent on its surface. Mars is home to the largest volcano in the solar system, the deepest canyon, and crazy weather with the temperature patterns. The next part will be explained by my friend.
Hello everyone! So me and Dika, we are going to explain about Mars ecology. So I'm going to specifically explain about the environment of Mars. The first one is the surface. Mars actually has a rocky surface with dry terrain and also with huge volcanoes and deep valleys. We also see a variety of familial landforms, such as the wind-formed dunes. Other kind of sedimentary deposits are present as well, known by names as stars and PLDS. The second one is the water. Actually, no water can be seen by the naked eye in Mars. Liquid water is generally not stable in Mars, so there are currently no standing bodies of water, such as river, lakes, or seas. And then the third one is the gravity. Do you know that Mars only have 1/3 of the gravity that we have on Earth? So imagine you are bumping on Mars. And then the fourth one is the atmosphere. Mars' atmosphere is composed primarily by carbon dioxide, about 96% of all the gases that Mars has, with a minor amounts of argon and nitrogen. The atmosphere is very thin, and the atmospheric pressures at the surface of the Mars is only about 0.6% that we have on Earth. And then the fifth one, or the last one, is the seasonal changes. Like Earth, Mars also have a seasonal changes, but it lasts much longer than the one that we have on Earth. In winter, Mars polar ice cap can reach down to 45 degrees latitude and then rapidly shrink during spring.
Then, does life exist on Mars now? Well, there is a slim chance that microbial life exists on Mars today, perhaps under the planet's ice caps or in subsurface lakes detected by spacecraft. Because the kind of life that could exist on Mars today is microbial, it would not be spotted by any cameras of an orbiting spacecraft. Instead, there are ways to detect it indirectly through chemical signatures linked to life called biosignatures. One such biosignatures is methane, which can be created by both biological and geological processes. The methane was found on March 2004 by Mars Express. The methane seen by Mars Express was concentrated in certain regions and quickly dispersed to a level that could no longer be detected. Then, a decade later, the methane returned on 2012 by NASA's Mars Curiosity rover in Gale Crater, and on June 2013 by Mars Express in Gale Crater also. Even though the methane was found for several times, but most scientists still cannot identify where the methane comes from. One of the scientists is NASA's Danny Glavin, a participating scientist in the Curiosity mission. Then, the same remains true to this day.
Some people may ask, is it possible for us to live on Mars? The answer is yes, but there is some obstacles if we living on Mars. First, Mars has a very cold temperature. Even the average temperature on Mars is minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit or equal to minus 60 degrees Celsius, especially in the winter. The temperature of Mars can reach 200 degrees Fahrenheit. With this temperature, it will make human feels very cold and even freeze. Second, Mars has a very low gravity. If a person has a mass of 60 kilograms, on Mars, his body mass is only 20 kilograms. This condition can cause unseen health problems. The low gravity also can cause our body to lose muscle mass. Our bodies will be like how astronauts feel when they are in a region with zero gravity. Third, Mars has a limited water. Even though there is water on Mars, the amount is not as much as on Earth. As we know, water is an important component for the life of living things. Mars was once home to a vast ocean of water, but now the water is mostly frozen with carbon dioxide at the two poles on Mars. Humans will find it difficult to find water to survive there. And the last obstacle is Mars has a thin atmosphere layer. The atmosphere is 1% as dense as that on Earth, with very little oxygen. This not only makes it difficult for humans to breathe on the red planet, but the lack of pressure reduces the boiling temperature of water to 0 degrees Celsius. Since human bodies and the fluids in them rest at 37 degrees Celsius, the lack of pressure will see our bodies boiling from within.
The other major challenges is the fact that Mars is very energy poor. Because of its distance from the Sun, solar power is only 40% as effective as on Earth. But even this weekend sunlight is often obscured for days by enormous dust storms. Solar power alone will probably not be enough. Alternatives such as wind power and geothermal energy are also unfeasible because there's hardly any atmosphere and Mars' interior is way too cold. Initially, nuclear technology might be the only option. Since Mars don't have easily accessible radioactive elements, nuclear fuel needs to come from Earth along with the reactor. If we set it up, it could power small poles for the first few years only. Next slide, please. Without an extensive magnetic field or a dense atmosphere, half of all radiation coming from the space reaches the ground of Mars. A person on Mars' surface would experience 50 times the radiation than they would be on Earth. 3 years on its surface exceeds the radiation dose limits on NASA astronauts for their entire career. Due to this high level of radiation, this will cause acute health effects, that is, increased cancer risk and cardiovascular disease significantly. Okay, now let's talk about the dangers from Mars dust and soil. Mars dust is much finer than dust on Earth, so it could find its way into parts like gears of machines. Since it's also extremely dry, it is electrostatically charged, sticking to everything including spacesuits. It will be impossible to avoid carrying lots of dust into our habitats and into the lungs of people. Even worse, Mars soil is also filled with very toxic perchlorate salts. Constant exposure could be very deadly. Apart from this, growing food is a hard thing to do in this planet. Mars soil are alkaline with pH from 8 to 9 and the lack of the crucial nitrogen compounds that plants need to grow.
So on to the last part of the presentation, the conclusion. What can we take away from the whole presentation? So the biggest question is, why Mars? Why choose Mars out of all the other planets available in the solar system? Simple. The answer is because Mars has proven to be the most suitable for human life. It has enough resources for us to live there and to essentially survive. So first of all, there is water available in the soil, which means that we can extract it for essential needs. And considering that Mars is the third planet away from the sun, means that the planet still gets enough sunlight, which makes it easier for us to use solar panels. Gravity on Mars is 38% less than that of Earth, but according to scientific research, this kind of gravity proves to be sufficient for human body adaptation. Lastly, Mars also has a thin atmosphere which allows humans to breathe and also protects us from sun and cosmic radiation. However, although Mars has the resources that humans need to essentially survive there, it does not have enough to live. Mainly because, first of all, as mentioned before, they do have an atmosphere, but a very thin one, which makes it harder for humans to breathe because the air on the surface of Mars is mainly composed of carbon dioxide. Also, with a thin atmosphere, it makes it very hard for the planet to retain heat, making temperatures drop very quickly. The planet also has lower gravity, and as mentioned before, human body can't adapt to it. However, it will severely reduce the muscles and the strength of the bones in the human body. Lastly, water there is available, however, a very, very scarce amount. So what can we take away from this? What does this mean? It means that it is just not feasible for humans to live on Mars. The ecology of Mars does not allow for humans to actually live there. It can only be a scientist's dream. Here are some of the references that we used in making this presentation. Thank you all for listening, and we hope you have a good day. If you have any questions, please let us know.